Hey there, hi there, ho there, it's Wispopedia. I've been taking people through a few of the old raids in Destiny 2 on Twitch. If you ever want in on that, follow there and, keep your eyes open for any time we do a raid night. But that experience has been a pretty eye-opening one for me. I know there's a stigma about service streamers and whatever, but at this point in my Destiny 2 streaming career, if that's what you would call it, I'm really just here to have a good time, make friends, and help those friends enjoy some of the best content the game has to offer. As a Destiny player, I love helping people in game, and in real life I'm a teacher, which actually provides a lot of overlap and the necessary skills to be a good raid guide in Destiny 2. Today I'm going to be discussing some of the things that I believe make a raid guide experience more smooth, and to try to help everyone have less bad experiences with raids. They're some of the best content Destiny has to offer. I think everyone should be able to do them. Also, many of these aspects and concepts will work in a PvP sense too, so we will likely be discussing that down the road in another video as well. If you like this video, sub to the channel and leave a like. Let's get started. First, patience. One of the things that creates the worst experiences for folks trying to complete a raid is a guide who has zero tolerance for mistakes. I hate to break this to you, but if you're someone who is deciding to take on teaching anything to people, you have to expect some type of failure. Failure, after all, is really one of the vital steps on the road to overall success. As a teacher, I know that my students aren't always going to get everything correct on the first try, but it's my job to make sure that they eventually get there, and the amount of time it ultimately takes to actually get there will vary quite a lot from person to person. As such, it's important to take the time needed to explain the topic. It's important to have a mindset that everyone is trying his or her best, and that we have to help guide them to success. Your job as a raid teacher isn't to be the best player on the team. It's not always to have the highest DPS. It is, however, to make sure that they have a successful experience. That's the most important thing above anything else. As such, it's important to make sure that you provide adequate feedback. If an encounter isn't working or someone is making a mistake, gently remind them of their job in an encounter. You don't need to chastise someone for making that mistake, but it's your job to help clear them up on the expectations of any given role that someone takes on. Ask if they're clear about what they need to do. Try explaining the mechanics in a couple different ways. Give them a few tries to actually see how the mechanics work in practice. Experience is the greatest teacher, after all. But don't get frustrated if they don't get it right away. If they have questions, understand that you are their primary source for the correct information. If you want to take on the role of being a raid teacher, you need to make sure that you're creating an environment where people can actually learn the encounters and execute them successfully. And another thing that can help your team along the way is to be flexible. Flexibility. Flexibility is extremely important. And when I say flexibility, I mean that in nearly every sense of the word. This is a raid guide, not a know what to do, clear in 30 minutes or kick group. You're not going to have people who know the mechanics already. You aren't going to have people who have watched every raid guide video on how to complete the encounters, and that's okay. So you might need a few friends to serve as anchors. Ideally, you're going to want a few people who know the raid well enough that they could serve in a few different positions along each encounter. Please, though, don't just stick the new people on ad clear. They want to do the raid, and likely want to be able to know it well enough that they could do it on multiple occasions with multiple characters. And be flexible in this regard yourself. Rotate positions around if things aren't working. Try teaching folks a different position if the team composition isn't working out. Speaking of team composition, don't be afraid to volunteer to run well on Warlock or Divinity or something that supports the team. Remember, you're here to guide, not to be the top DPS hero. This could even come down to mechanics as well. For many encounters, there may be a faster, albeit riskier way to get through it. 4-bomb strat on Taniks or using 2 dunkers at Rolk, for example. Sometimes these methods could overcomplicate the mechanics for new players, so it's not a terrible idea to try to break away from your usual strategy. Though honestly, 4-bomb at Taniks and even 2 dunk at Rolk is much easier to execute, but I digress. It's also a good idea to allow the new folks on your team to be flexible with loadouts or anything like that too. Who knows? They might try a DPS strategy you hadn't even thought of. Either way, it's a better experience when you can use weapons you're comfortable with. Suggestions are always good, especially since you're the one teaching the raid, but don't expect players to be completely up to date on every insane DPS strategy for the raid that was just released a week ago. They're there to learn, and sometimes what helps most with learning is to have a specific, concrete goal you try to accomplish as a group. Goal-oriented approach. People learn better when there is a specific goal in mind. Many players will learn an encounter better if they know exactly what the purpose of the mechanics are for. Because of this, I usually like to state the ultimate goal of the encounter first, then explain the steps to get there. For bosses, this is easy. You could say our goal is to get to the DPS phase and empty their health bar. Here's how we get to DPS. For something like Obelisks and Valve the Disciple, it's a bit more difficult. The more abstract a goal is, the harder it is to see why you need to take the steps to get to the ultimate goal. So, simplify it. We need to hit the correct pictures on the obelisk. Here's how we figure out which pictures we need to shoot. State the purpose first, then show your team how to get it done. But this idea also goes beyond just talking through the mechanics. Remember that people have different ways they learn information. Some people really key into a verbal explanation. Some people need to see the mechanics for themselves as they go through the raid, and for these people, a lengthy explanation could, and likely will, absolutely be lost on them. Honestly, if you're explaining mechanics for more than like 5 minutes, you're probably not going to have a super successful time. So instead, assign and explain specific roles to specific players, tell them what to do, and let them actually see how the rules work. Your goal does not always need to be to clear the encounter on the first time. Your goal could be to have them see their piece of the puzzle a bit more clearly so that they understand exactly what you're talking about. In the more complex encounters, you may need a few runs to get the mechanics down. That's fine. Remember that you took on the task of teaching people how to complete this raid. That's your goal, so keep your ego in check and do what you need to do to ensure that your group understands the mechanics and can execute them. Have a purpose for each run. Don't keep banging your head against the wall trying to struggle towards the finish line. I promise that will take much more time and be a lot more frustrating for everyone that way. And speaking of frustration, this last idea is probably the most important. You have to stay positive. Positive mindset. You are playing a video game. I know everyone wants to finish the raid quickly, but keep in mind that if you are trying to teach people how to do the raid, it may take a while. That's okay. People are going to make mistakes. You are going to make mistakes. Nobody is perfect, and most people are not good at something the first time they do it. It's alright. If you are the raid leader, you are setting the overall tone for how the group will advance and progress. And as a leader, you are taking on the responsibility of ensuring that everyone has fun, is successful, and doesn't feel put down by anyone in the group. It's important to make sure that people feel welcome. If you're a streamer hoping to build a community, it's much easier to do that if people know that you enjoy having them there. You don't know what kind of people you're going to meet. They could become usual Fireteam members and good friends. They could become people who regularly hop into your stream or support you in other ways. I have a few people who have become fantastic community members that just joined up for a random raid help night. They're probably watching this video right now, and I can't thank them enough for their help and support. But people will not stick around if they have a bad experience. People probably won't become friends or Fireteam members if you treat them poorly. In general, people should just be kind to each other, but do your best not to lose your cool over a raid. I know we take the game seriously, but it's not worth making someone feel like garbage or left out over. Just be cool. And I promise you that people will have a good time. The tone you set for the team is important, and if you're having fun and having a good time, I'm sure other people will too. If you're looking to build a community of any kind, for streams or just to make friends, or even both really, creating a positive atmosphere is of the utmost importance. In conclusion, I love helping people through raids. I love creating a positive, fun atmosphere. It's created some really great friendships for me throughout my time playing Destiny. I know there are a few things I personally have picked up through teaching people raid mechanics and things like that, but the most important thing is really to make sure everyone has a good time. It's supposed to be fun, so try and keep that in mind. Crack some jokes, make people feel welcomed, and work together. Raids provide some of the best content in Destiny 2, and hold an extremely special place in my heart. If you're looking to guide your own raids, think about all the ways you can explain the encounters, and do your best to keep attainable goals in mind. I'm sure you'll find success with your group in no time. Hey, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Wispedia, but you can call me Wisp. If you like this video, do the usual YouTube things, like and sub. And if you want to get in on any community raid nights, check me out on Twitter and Twitch. I usually post there if I'm looking to get some runs going. Also, check out the Dojo Discord. It's a wonderful place full of wonderful people who play a number of different games. If you like Destiny, you'll fit in really well there. A link is provided below. Thank you again so much for watching. Make sure you stay hydrated, get some good rest, and take care of yourselves. And I'll catch you next time.